What's up guys and geeks, Demo17 here. Welcome back to another LEGO minifigure showcase video. Today we've got my Siege of Mandalore minifigs. Starting from left to right, we've got 332nd Trooper, Bo-Katan, Sokka, Maul, Commander X and Captain Vaughn. As you can see, my backdrop has slightly changed. I got a new matte thing, which is nice and clean for now. And this backdrop is just some wooden lid off a box that I found, which should hopefully help with the issue I had last time of things not focusing. So might as well go from left to right, starting off with my 332nd Clone Trooper who has a big hair stuck on his helmet. So yeah, the helmet, speaking of, was a blank area light helmet, completely blank, and I painted on the visor first and the mouth. I tried to make it look movie accurate as much as I could, but it kind of merges both the movie and the Clone Wars design together, which I personally find alright. Painted these bits grey on either side, the rings around there black, obviously this black line here, cheeks grey, because when I looked at the reference for the 332nd Clone Trooper, god that's a mouthful, it looked grey to me, so that's what I did, but I think it might be slightly wrong. Painted these blue lines, which I'm actually quite happy with on this guy, because they're actually quite neat. And the tubes and the thing in the middle, which is slightly lower than the actual area light print, which did cause some issues for me for Rex, because I initially was going to use the printed one for him, but hey, it's fine. Underneath it's just a black minifigure head, because I don't have enough Clone Trooper heads, and you don't really see any of these guys without the helmet on, so does it matter? Not really. The gun, going back to Fives and Echo, is just a standard Lego gun with the scope cut off, and I still don't know what it's called. I think it's an S. I'm damn sure it's an S. The clone itself uses a standard clone torso, but because I hardly have any, I always have ones with prints on, so I ended up sanding off all of the print up here, so everything above the waist bit here is fully painted by me, and I think I did a pretty nice job at it. I just can't really paint belts and the stomach area, but the chest is painted by me, the 501st blue stripe is painted by me. Extended the print like on Fives and Echo, but it doesn't go that much into the side. The legs are the standard Clone Trooper legs that I do, with the black undersuit, two grey lines, crotch area, and the knee pads like that, and I don't know if you can see the boots. The sides of the legs have the two 501st blue stripes, and this bit is the strap for the knee pad, and I did look it up. The stripe doesn't carry on down there, so I didn't do that. Obviously it's the same on this side as well. Nothing on the back because I'm lazy. And the arms, standard Clone Trooper arms with the 501st markings, the blue shoulder and the blue around the wrist, which for some reason has gone out of focus. For some reason has scraped off there. I'll have to touch that back up. Shoulder pads, elbow things. Yeah, on this side it's the same, apart from it has the comlink, which is also from Fives and Echo. Same design anyway. And that's that done. I'm really actually quite happy with how this guy turned out, and I can't wait to go back and change all my other Clone Troopers to this design, because I really like it. moving on to Bo-Katan. She was the first one of these guys I made, I think. And she was very stressful, but also quite fun to make. I keep almost knocking over Sokka. The helmet is a standard Lego Mandalorian helmet. It's that blue one from the set, but it didn't quite match the blue I'd already painted on her. So I repainted it. You might notice, I don't know if you can notice on camera, but there is like 3 different shades of blue because I kept having to mix it again because it kept drying up. It was a really hot day. Rangefinder is a standard Lego rangefinder. Painted it black at the top. Helmet is all painted by me, the visor and the white and all of the sort of night owl stuff on it, as well as the blue lines there with a bit of white paint that's smudged on it. Blue lines there and the white there. Back of the helmet, nothing really. The jetpack, you can't really see it, but these bits on those sides and the bit underneath that centre bit is also all a light grey colour. Blue stripe up the middle and like a a light tan colour there. I painted the neck base blue, added some scratchings on it to try and make it look sort of more like the movie. She doesn't like standing on, there we go. I did paint her face for her and the hairpiece, which I actually am quite happy with. I cannot for the life of me remember what the head piece is, but I painted on the freckles, the line in the middle there, paint the eyebrows, and I don't know if you can see it, not when it's out of focus. You can kind of see a scar that she has on her head there, just under the hairpiece. The hairpiece is a Lego Bob hairpiece thing, with the headband sculpted on with green stuff, and I'm really happy with how that turned out. Yeah, her torso was a plain black torso, which I just painted all of her Mandalorian armour on, which I think turned out really nicely. I'm not usually that good at painting Mandalorian armour, so I think I did it pretty well. Her design I added like battle damage onto, because in the show it's just grey, but I'm assuming that like the armor's painted grey, so I did a bit of damage on the 2 blue lights there and there. Her belt for some reason doesn't want to show up on camera. If I can get it to focus, you can barely see it, but yeah, it's not the best of belts I've painted, but it gets the job done. These big grey splodges here are meant to represent a sort of female torso type thing, because I cannot afford the area light ones, so I have to make do. The legs, I'm really happy with how the legs turned out. Again, it just doesn't want you to see them, but I painted the grey on the crotch area as well as all the armour, the blue knee pads and the grey boots, as well as the bit underneath the knee pads with the blue lines in. I can't really point at it because I have to keep the camera in focus, so evidently the background didn't work. But I also painted like the holster type things there and there, carry around to the end of the torso. The guns, pistols things, also just Lego pistols with whatever was up here. I think it was just like a cube or something. Cut those off on either and they work pretty well. Her arms, I don't like that arm, let's use this one. Painted on the shoulder pad, try that again. painted on the shoulder pad and the night owl emblem, the blue grey lines on the arms, and the gauntlets, which I painted a red line on and a little silver dot. Don't know if the camera wants you to see that. There you go. As well as sort of just two black lines to sort of give it some oomph. I also painted the neck black, which I forgot to mention. Yeah, that's it for Bo-Katan. I'm really happy with how she turned out, and she did like slowly become one of my sort of favourite characters. I have no idea why, but there we are. So moving on to Sokka. Where are all these hairs coming from? God's sake. Yeah, she was both very easy and very hard to make, and I may go and redo her at some point because I'm not that happy, but she gets the job done, I guess. So starting off with the lightsabers, just get them out of the way. They're made from a standard Lego lightsaber hilt. I cut off the top area and the rings, shaved them down, slid on this piece, which is like a light grey Technic piece thing, slided that on, glued it on, and then just stuck in a blue lightsaber blade, and that I think looks pretty accurate to Ahsoka's lightsaber in season 7 without too much modification. Her other one is the exact same, but with a shorter blade, which is like a magic wand piece that I got off Firestar Toys. For Sokka, her headdress piece is just the one from the Clone Wars. I didn't sculpt any like extended thingies anywhere just because I couldn't be bothered, and I think it works fine. I did paint the headband and sculpt it on with green stuff again. It's not as good as Bo's, but it gets the job done, I think. I think the side looks better. I did paint some blue like extensions and just sort of made it look a bit neater. Her face is ordered from Firestar Toys, and I believe they made it as well, so good for them. I painted her neck blue. It looks black on the thing, but it is definitely blue. And there should be two tiny little grey lines there. And on the other side, she's got an angry face, and the same thing. The back is plain because I'm lazy. So the torso was easy to paint, but also not easy to paint, because I painted on these things which are very finicky, but once you get them done, they're done. Again, the big grey splodges that are meant to represent the curves on her torso, I think they're slightly bigger than Bo-Katan's, but she's like 16, so I guess it kind of makes sense. I don't know. I paint the belt that curves down, and the top of the buckle is on the torso, and the bottom part of the buckle is on her skirt, which I spent ages trying to line it up, and it still doesn't line up for some reason. Her arms are just plain orange, with this bit painted on, the grey here, blue there, and outlined it in black. Gauntlets, not totally accurate, they're more a pointy shape, but I think they work. Blue on either side, black at the top, and grey outlining it, with yellow sort of in the middle there to show off the buttons. That's a bigger splodge, but I think that one's better. Black bit here, which is like the bit that straps it on with the grey straps. The legs, before I get onto the wastegapes and that, very simple, just grey knee pads and grey boots, which go onto the outside of each, but not the inside because I'm lazy. Even though they did still take me like 3 days each to do. Her waistcape thing is made up of 2 separate pieces. A Lego Karma thing, whatever it's called, which has the, I don't know if you can see it. Well, you can't if it doesn't focus, can you? I painted the grey at the top of them and outlined it in grey, and you can kind of just see the 2 grey lines that go in the middle, which aren't very neat. They're quite messy, if you ask me, but I'm not too bothered, honestly. She took ages to do. The blue was a nightmare. It took me like 4 different attempts to mix the right blue colour that matched Legos. But this bit, the skirt bit that is underneath the waistcape, I don't want to take it off because it's going to take me ages to get it back on. I'm actually quite happy with. You've got the belt buckle here and the grey lines, which for some reason has like this white thing on it. No idea what that is. Oh, I think it's a continuation of the other line, but it's slightly off-centered. So, but yeah, I'm really happy with how that turned out. The skirt piece, for anyone who's wondering, underneath the waistcape is from the guy from Rogue One, the blind dude. It was the only skirt piece I really had that was long enough. So, yeah, that's Sokka. I'm not like super happy with how she turned out, but I'm not disappointed enough for me to redo it, if you understand. So I'll get onto Maul, I think, later, because he's going to take quite a while. So here's Commander Rex instead. So the helmet, again, is an area light helmet, but this time the helmet was a printed one. So I'll get into that in a minute. The rangefinder is just the same as Bo's, grey Lego one with the top of it painted black. So the only thing really on this that is still from the area light figure print, is these tallies here, which you won't find on anywhere else on the minifig, just because they are so finicky to make. Maybe in like a year or so, when my skills have improved, I might go back and add them on, but for now, this will do. So, for those of you who don't know, the area light print for the grey bit here is actually slap bang in the centre of this, and the lines going down, the welding lines were red, and it was just a bit of a mess, personally, I thought. So I decided to completely repaint it. As far as I know, again, it's also attempting to be movie accurate, even though he never showed up in the movies. As far as I know, though, the mouth is a Phase 2 mouth, and the visor is a Phase 1 visor, I think. So, I painted, obviously, the breathing things again, and that grey bit there. The visor, I extended out so it goes all the way to the end of the helmet, because the area light print didn't. And obviously your standard silver line, which I didn't mention on my other trooper. Paint the blue that outlines it, and it goes across all the top here as well. The two, I don't want to try and pronounce it, the 2 triangle things that Captain Fordo also has. And then the blue lines, which aren't as good, but they get the job done. Paint this bit grey, as per usual. and then all of the welding lines, which is based off the slideshow one. So there might be some I've missed, there might be some that are extra, but hey. So I painted the welding lines down here, which is like the most classic ones on Phase 2 Vex. The welding line goes on top of the blue. The sort of cheeks are actually apparently welded, and these weird black things on it, whatever those are. Underneath the head, it's just a angry clone. I don't have a hairpiece for Vex yet. I was going to paint it just on the head, but it didn't look right, so yeah. The pauldron is made by me. It's actually two separate pieces. You've got the main pauldron part and the bit with the ammo clip on. Basically what I made that from was like a sort of pillowcase material, which I just painted black on both sides to sturdy it up a bit. Painted the detail on and then varnished it, which I do for all my figures anyway. I varnish it so the paint doesn't come off, and I think it looks pretty nice. The blue actually shows up quite well on camera on the pauldron. It's not really that great, but like I've said for like almost every minifig in this showcase, it gets the job done. Yeah, it was stressful to make the pauldron, but also fun. I've made pauldrons before. I made one on Bly, my Custom Commander Bly figure, which I might showcase at some point, but yeah. The torso is the same as the 332nd one with the belt, and I painted everything above it. The torso I'm not as proud of as I am for Vaughn and the Trooper, but it gets the job done, and half of it's covered up by the pauldron, so it'll do. I painted these welded lines here and here again. The blaster pistols are the other type of Lego pistol, which is like the Han Solo type one, which I cut off the scope, and I think that makes it pretty good. I'm not even going to try and find out what it's called. The pistols that the clones use. The arms are my standard Clone Trooper arms, with the blue stripe painted down the middle, and down the middle of the shoulder as well. I keep calling that a shoulder, it's an elbow. Same on this side, but with the comlink. His waistcape is a standard Lego black waistcape with blue outline. You can just about see it there on camera, and these bits are the holsters for the pistols, and I originally got the idea from making Bly a while ago, and I've also had them on my Custom Fox and now Vex. The legs, basic Lego Clone Trooper legs with the blue lines on the knees there, and that's about it for Vex. I'm actually quite happy with how he turned out. He's not really one of my favourite clones. I like him and I think he's cool, but he's never really been my cup of tea. But yeah, I'm really happy with how he turned out. So moving on to Captain Vaughn, the last of the clones on this showcase. Yeah, same deal with the helmet, plain airy light helmet. Painted these bits grey, painted the lines there, painted the breathing things and the visor and the mouth, and then the sun visor was a standard Lego red sun visor that I cut and sanded a bit to give it the Phase 2 sort of shape. I painted all of the details on, like the Sokka markings, which I didn't actually mention for my other dude. For this one, for Vaughn, it's painted on in white. For the 332nd clone, it's actually orange painted on, and then the orange paint scraped off. I don't know, come on, does it want to focus? There you go, you can see the two black rectangles there. Rectangles? What's a rectangle? Rectangle there. this is like my 4th attempt recording this. It's been a long day. I painted the... hold on. The red underneath the sort of visor thing and the line there. In some reference photos I see of Vaughn, he has like an eye patch on this side, but I decided not to do it because I'm lazy. The head is just a plain black head, like 332nd. The back, because he has that jetpack thing that Cody also has, I'm just using this for now until I get some actual ones that look like it from either Clone Army Customs or whatever. The arms, your standard Clone Trooper arms with... Well, no, it's not, because the shoulders are slightly different. They kind of match Cody's movie design a bit more. You can see the 2 black lines there and there that go along with it. Paint that blue. Paint the elbow. Paint the elbow blue. And the 501st blue lines on there. The torso is same deal with my other troopers. Everything, well, yeah, the waist is the print. Everything else is painted by me. I think Vaughn is probably one of the better ones. I painted on the little thing that him and Cody have. 501st markings. The bit stomach sort of area in grey, but the belt is still white, so yeah. These bits of white paint are just me painting over the print, because I think the print had like orange markings or something. Legs, nothing really too fantastically interesting, just standard Clone Trooper legs with the blue stripes of the 501st and the blue on the knee pad. And the blaster is the same as 5's from my last video. It's just a standard Lego rifle with bits of it cut off and a bit that doesn't want to come off. There we go. Bits of it cut off here, and a minifigure hand, which it still doesn't like focusing on this rifle. A minifigure hand with the sort of bit that goes in the arm cut off and stuck on the end, and I think that makes a really nice blaster rifle. So now we move on to Maul, which, my God, Maul. What is it with the hairs? Maul. What a guy. He took ages to make, but was really fun. I probably enjoyed him the most out of these guys, because the clones, I've painted clones like millions of times. Ahsoka was stressful, Bo was stressful, but Maul I really loved. So, tell you a story about Maul. Before I tell you a story, I'm just going to show you off his lightsaber. His lightsaber is just, is out of focus. His lightsaber is just a standard Lego lightsaber piece that keeps going out of focus. There we go. With another lightsaber piece sort of cut in half and wedged on either end. This bit is meant to be the actual bit of Maul's lightsaber, and this bit's meant to be the sort of other bit, yeah. And obviously you've got the 2 red blades, 2 buttons, and some black lines. Now I'll tell you a story about Maul. So, I originally wasn't going to make this guy, but I thought, it's Clone Wars Season 7, I might as well. It's Maul, and I've always wanted to make Maul, so here he is. The head, fun story, I was originally going to try and order a head, but they had none anywhere at all. So my second thing was, I'll just get a black head. Get Lego sort of Zabrak headpiece thing, because I knew I had one of them, and just paint that. Then, of course, I couldn't find the one, so instead I had to sculpt on all of his horns and the head with green stuff, which was annoying that I had to, because it was the one thing I didn't want to do, because I knew it would take ages, but I'm really glad that I did, because I love how it turned out. So, this is going to be hard, isn't it? All the horns are painted a tan colour, every single one of them. The back, guess what, it's plain because I'm lazy. So yeah, I did paint his earring, which is that silver dot there. The face, what I did was I painted a red, painted it all red, painted the eyes, and then painted the black tattoos over it. And I based it off a Lego minifigure face, and I think it looks really nice. I'm quite happy with how it turned out. I do think the eyes are a bit basic, with just yellow with black dots in the middle, but I think they get the job done. That might become my new catchphrase. I love it. I really do. I'm really happy with how that bit of mold turned out. The torso is a dark tan torso with all of the robe. I'm just going to move these out of the way. Sorry guys. It's just a standard dark tan torso with black robes and the button things and all that, with his exposed chest. This guy doesn't have a waistcape or anything, which I was planning to do, but I ran out skirt pieces to cut up, so it kind of just has to do that, but gets the job done. God's sake. The arms, dark tan, with the black shoulder parts sort of painted on them. I don't know how well you can see that. You can see it all right there. Outlined it in grey, as well as the sort of gauntlet type things with the grey lines on. I couldn't paint the lines that attach everything together because they're just ridiculously thin. Same reason why I didn't paint the tallies on necks. But I might go back and change that. The legs are also dark tan. What a surprise, with the pockets painted on, which one is comically larger than the other. I like that one the best, I think. And the robo legs of Maul, which are just all painted on by me. Outlined some areas in black that needed to be. They carry on to the side there. And I'm actually quite happy with how they turned out. It took me a while to get it because I painted them originally this grey colour here. I painted them that, then painted all the detail, and I thought those don't really look like robot legs. So I painted them again with grey and a coat of acrylic silver over it. All of it's acrylic, but silver as well, because, yeah. And then repainted all the detail, and I think it looks so much better with that. I think it actually looks like robot legs, which is also obviously real nice. But the main reason I love this figure is just because of how well I think I did the head. And I'm not really typically one to toot my own horn, but yeah, I'm really happy with that head. So yeah, he was definitely one of the most challenging minifigs I've done. But that will wrap it up, I think, for my Siege of Mandalore minifigs. Let's try and get them all on camera here. The one downside with my new quote-unquote backdrop, I guess, is the fact that... No, come on. It's the fact that I can't, like, preview anything. I can't, like, point at stuff and say I'm onto making them. But I do think my next showcase will either be something to do with custom Transformers or my symbiotes. But if it will be my symbiotes, it might take a while. But here we have my Siege of Mandalore minifigs. I'm like 90% happy with how they turned out. Clone Wars Season 7 was amazing, most of it. And yeah, that about wraps it up. I might make go back and make some more Clone Wars minifigs from like the early seasons, but for this showcase for season 7, that's them done. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, then I guess you can like it. If you want to see more custom showcases, subscribe if you like. Yeah, have a nice day everyone, and I hope that you guys come back and watch the next video. Bye bye.